A very good day to Mr. Ravi. We are Group 5 and we will be presenting today discussing about the Iskandar Malaysia project and how will it help in boosting the economy of Malaysia. Before diving into the main topic, let me give you a brief introduction about the Iskandar Malaysia project. The Iskandar Malaysia is a mixed development project established in 2006 under the 9th Malaysia Plan, focusing around the Johor and nearby areas. This is due to a study conducted by Khazanah Nasional that found out the development of such zones would be economically, socially, and developmentally beneficial. The project aims to develop the region holistically and transform them into prosperous economies with quality facilities. Due to Iskandar Malaysia's generous land area, strategic locations and abundant ready infrastructures, it has stimulated 9 promoted sectors which are electric and electronics, petrochemical, food and agro-processing, logistics, tourism, creative, healthcare and finance. The main tenets of Iskandar Malaysia are wealth generation, wealth equity, and sustainable development. As of 2018, a total of 285.32 million ringgit has been invested into the project, and it aims to create an ambitious 1.5 million additional job opportunities. Initially, the scope covered 2,217 square kilometers of area. However, it later expanded to 4,749 square kilometers. The development is divided into several zones or flagships, which are discussed as follows.
The first flagship would be Flagship A, which is the JB City Centre. It consists of the Singapore-Malaysia Causeway, the CIQ Complex and the Vantage Bay. The Singapore-Malaysia Causeway connects Malaysia to Singapore and has an estimated of 60,000 people that crosses it every day. Secondly, the CIQ Complex. It stands for the Customs, Immigration and Quarantine Complex, which is related to the causeway. It is roughly of 232,000 square meter big and is compared to KLIA and Singapore Changi Airport. Finally, the Vantage Bay is envisioned to be an integrated medical hub. It is a gated city with medical campuses, apartments, hotels, malls and offices. The Thomson Iskandar Medical Hub will include a 500 multidiscipline hospital, health training, nursing, medical research facilities, which is estimated to be open in 3 years. The second flagship would be Flagship B, which is also known as Iskandar Puteri. It consists of Legoland Malaysia, EduCity and Medini. One of the most recognizable landmark of Johor is the Legoland Malaysia theme park, as you know. It was opened in 2012 and it aims to attract 2 million tourists annually. EduCity is Asia's first multi-campus education city with an area of 305 acres. It consists of 9 institutes consisting of 6 higher education institutes and 3 international boarding schools. Highlights include the University of Reading, the Netherlands Maritime Institute of Technology and the Multimedia University. Additionally, it also contains EduCity Sports Complex, a 14,000-seater stadium with multiple functions such as a football field, a rugby field, a basketball court, a badminton court, a futsal court, a tennis court, and a 400-meter athletic track and an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Finally, Medini is also known as a mixed-use urban development area and a smart city. It is known as Smart City because it has smart buildings with occupancy sensors, a high efficiency lighting and charging ports for electric cars which is powered by solar energy.
Now, I'm going to talk about the Flagship C, which covered Tanjung Pelepas and Tanjung Bin. The Tanjung Pelepas port is the 3rd busiest port in Southeast Asia. Around 6 billion ringgit has been invested in the port, and an additional 2 billion ringgit investment covering around 2,000 acres of land. Furthermore, Flagship C also established a free trade area in Tanjung Pelepas, containing international companies. These projects are estimated to have generated around 10,000 jobs. On the other hand, Asia Petroleum Hub was established as well. It is now one of the biggest petroleum handling facilities in Asia. Next, the Tanjung Bin Power Plant, which is a coal power plant that generates around 3,000 megawatts of electricity per year. It contributed to the Malaysia social economy by providing more than 5,000 of job opportunities during its construction. Flagship C also covered Iskandar Malaysia Studios. It is a large studio complex involved with production of international television and streaming series such as Marco Polo, Strike Back, and Lost in the Pacific. Subsequently, I'm going to explain about Flagship D, which focuses on industrial activities in Pasir Gudang and Tanjung Laksat. The Tanjung Laksat Industrial Park specifically caters to heavy industry. It contains various industries such as construction, palm oil, chemical, and marine industry. Besides that, we also have Tanjung Laksat Port, which is located near the industrial park. It contains an oil storage terminal and handles liquid cargo. Lastly, Pasir Gudang Port has similar functions to the previous two areas. It is the largest edible oil storage facility in Malaysia and is even granted city status in 2020.
Hi guys, I'm Anas and I'll be explaining about the flagship E of Iskandar Malaysia project. So Senai has been chosen as the flagship zone of this flagship. This flagship E is synonym with its key landmark building, which is Senai International Airport. So this airport has been constructed in 1974. It is now managed by Senai Airport Terminal Services Senai Berhad after they took over in 2003 from Malaysia Airport Holdings Berhad. It is the first private operator or the first airport that became independent. This airport can handle up to 3.5 million passengers and 80,000 tons of cargo per annum. It is an innovation gateway to Iskandar Malaysia. Among the facilities there includes Senai Business Aviation Terminal (SBAT), meeting and conference rooms, dining private rest facilities, and private jet terminals. There's also a development of Senai Airport City, which is a mixed development plan. Senai Airport City includes Senai High Tech Park, which is focusing on high-tech industry and green technology such as solar panels. There's also Senai Free Trade Zone in Senai Airport City, which is a dedicated industry area. Mercedes-Benz and BMW are among the big names that are planning to open a logistic facilities here. Recently, in 2021, WeWin, a Taiwanese company, has opened a cloud computing IT facilities in Senai. Aside from Senai International Airport, there's also a Johor Premium Outlet in this flagship E. Johor Premium Outlet is a joint venture between Genting Berhad and Simon Property Group. As the first premium outlet center in Southeast Asia and the 70th outlet center in the premium outlets portfolio, this outlet features 130 leading designers and name brand stores, offering impressive savings of 25% to 65% every day. It is located near Senai Airport, and it contains luxury brands such as Coach, Ferragamo, Belly, and Furla. As of 2019, before pandemic, it attracted 4.5 million visitors annually. In the future, the Iskandar Regional Development Board or IRDA plans to develop Sedenak. Sedenak is located in Kulai or northern Iskandar Malaysia. This place will become the next flagship zone, or we can call it flagship F. This flagship would focus on agro-technology, high-tech industries, and low-carbon projects.
Good morning, my name is Lim Ji Hang and I will be sharing about the benefits of Iskandar project from economic perspective in general point of views. And generally, Iskandar project in Johor will generate job opportunities which can bring down the unemployment. And first, I would like to explain the employment boosting plan from two perspectives. The first one, which is from the project's process itself, and the second one is the project's results. And the project has included various facilities, okay, and many general administrative works required and other auxiliary functions which has to maintain from time to time, and this use up labor force which reduce unemployment in Malaysia. And furthermore, any future maintenance also require laborers which can help the construction workers to stabilize their monthly income. And from the perspective of its results, I would like to take an example from the construction of various facilities such as JB Singapore Causeway. This has already helped many Malaysians living in JB. They are able to travel overseas to Singapore and take up jobs in Singapore, and they can also travel back to JB, so they don't need to worry about the accommodations, the rental fees in Singapore. So this project has also successfully attracted 90.5 billion in foreign investment with the top 5 countries, which are China, Singapore, USA, Japan, and Spain. And this project aims in line with sustainable development goals, and the sustainable here is defined as to use the current resources to meet with the current needs, just with the current needs, without affecting future generations. Thus, if sustainable development is practiced, resources would still be available for future generations' needs and wants. So just think about this. If we can sustain it, then our future generations can still enjoy the benefits. But if the resources is fully used up and the future generations not able to enjoy the benefits, then we will consider these kind of projects as the short-sighted ones. Okay, so and we don't encourage this kind of projects, but definitely Iskandar Malaysia project isn't this kind of projects. So we actually quite encourage projects such as Iskandar Malaysia projects to keep on and inspire the other projects alike. From the transport perspective, it also generates some benefits as well. The projects such as Senai Desaru, JB Singapore Rapid Transit, Iskandar Malaysia Bus Rapid Transit will help connect the facilities and open up new opportunities to people. And for example, both employer and employees have a larger pool of choices, which they are no longer being restricted because they can pick their employer and the employer can pick their employees. So if you don't like your employer, just quit and pick another one. And if you don't like your employees, after the end of the contracts, you can easily find another talented one. So this has removed the structural unemployment due to geographical factors. And people will also have more access to the higher education as the EduCity is being built. And the JB to Singapore Rapid Transit System is still being built, is still in the progress, but we believe that after this has built, it will facilitate the movement between two countries. This is definite, and it has almost the same advantage as the causeway mentioned earlier. So an alternative will greatly prevent traffic congestions, because if there is only one way from JB to Singapore, which is the causeway, then if comes to the peak hours, then it can easily be congested. But if there's an alternative such as the RTS being built, then it can reduce the effects of traffic congestions, and this ensures efficiencies in work time. And also the causeway and RTS in futures will definitely attract more tourists from Singapore to Malaysia. Their visits will increase our national incomes. And here is my part, and I am Dim Chi Hang, and thank you so much for my part, and I would like to pass my turn to the next speaker, and he will talk more about the benefits in details. Thank you so much.
The development in the industry areas would definitely lead to more job opportunities for the local, and therefore will improve the local economy. This would then help to reduce the reliance on foreign workers and give the local organization more space and power to control their supply chain activity and help them to reduce costs and generate more profit. Not only that, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, in a meeting with Iskandar Regional Development Authority, IRDA, state that 252 companies managed to employ 1,811 new employees, which including women, disabled, and retirees under the Iskandar Employment Grant Program. He also said that a total of 1,452 entrepreneurs have entered various training programs, and 117 small and medium enterprises have received grant to help them to operate their business operation under the Iskandar Dynamic Entrepreneur Program. This increased competition in the manufacturing and business sector will improve the local production and therefore will make more local product can be exported. Hence, it will reduce reliance on the imported products and therefore will help to improve the balance of the trade. Iskandar also invests in education that will help to improve the skills and competencies of the local workforce. More product innovation will help to improve the quality of product produced and will help Malaysia to compete with other countries. This also will help them to have the skills that required by the employers and will help to reduce the reliance on foreign workers and also reduce the structural employment due to the change in technology.
Despite the many benefits that will arise from Iskandar Malaysia, there will also be some drawbacks. Firstly, Iskandar Malaysia is located in Johor Bahru region and also areas surrounding in Johor Bahru. Johor Bahru is the most affluent and most wealthy region in the state of Johor. There are 500,000 people living in Johor Bahru, and the total population of Johor state is 5 million people. This means that not many locals in Johor Bahru will be able to receive direct economic benefit from Iskandar Malaysia. Next, the residential properties developed in Iskandar Malaysia seems to cater more towards rich people, especially rich foreigners and expats. This means that not many local Malaysians, especially locals that are not wealthy, will be able to receive benefit from Iskandar Malaysia. This will give rise to a wealth gap among the Malaysian people, especially when rich people that will be receiving more benefits compared to those who are not that wealthy. The next disadvantage is pollution. Even though Iskandar Malaysia's aim is to be more green and more sustainable, pollution may still occur, especially during the construction phase. There will be construction of new buildings and facilities that can give rise to air, noise, and water pollution. There will also be development of new projects in Iskandar Malaysia, such as the building of a petroleum hub in Tanjung Pelepas and also building of a coal-powered station in Tanjung Bib. And these projects contradicts with Iskandar Malaysia's aim to be more sustainable as they will be using non-renewable energy. And the next disadvantage is opportunity cost may arise from Iskandar Malaysia project. The resources that we use for Iskandar Malaysia could also be used for other activities or projects that could help to develop the economy of Malaysia and may also be a better alternative compared to Iskandar Malaysia. We could use these resources to help improve the rural areas in Malaysia, such as providing facilities, infrastructures, and also create new jobs in rural areas, thus helping to reduce unemployment in Malaysia and also help to achieve equitable distribution of income in the country.
To discuss some further disadvantages, first of all, even though that the project of course is for the benefits of Malaysians, sometimes this project, if not handled properly, would be benefited by foreigners. So take for an example, construction. Most of construction work in Malaysia is done by foreigners. Now, if we pay the wages to the foreigners, and the foreigners will, of course, remit the money to their family back in their own country. So our local businesses, for example, would not receive the benefit of the money because they would send it to their family, and their family would spend it on their home country. Now, secondly, there's a lot of residential projects and mixed projects, and uh, as an average, most of them are aimed at the middle and upper class, for the middle and upper class, and sometimes it attracts mostly residents of expats or foreigners, and sometimes they buy the properties, or sometimes they own the properties and actually rent it to locals. So in actuality, the locals would pay rent to the foreigners, and our locals would not enjoy the benefits. Next, this project also involves the building of various malls. Of course, the malls would be beneficial in terms of generating commerce and encouraging people to spend and suppliers to increase their supplies. It actually may be harmful to small and medium enterprises. For example, if people are actually just flocking to the mall instead of visiting the SMEs, of course they would lose sales, and if they would lose sales, they could close up shop. Of course, the SMEs can relocate to the mall, but if they relocate to the mall, the rent would be higher and they could be less competitive. Furthermore, that would make the mall be a virtual monopoly, because if they don't market their products in the mall, they don't have any market. They can't sell their products. This also could relate to the earlier part, that is it would benefit foreigners if the malls are owned by foreign interests. Again, their profits, although they receive profits and they employ locals, some of them may remit their money to their home country, and government would lose the money in terms of tax. So the continued building of malls in residential areas and such could also have a risk of oversaturation, since there are many malls for people to choose from, and sometimes it gets nearer and nearer to their homes. People would stop visiting some malls, and some malls are made redundant because of newer malls with newer shops, new facilities, and of course, being new, people prefer going to the new one instead of the old one. So in the end, some malls would get abandoned. Then the old abandoned mall is usually be seen as a white elephant, as in it is very expensive. A lot of money is poured into it, but it's not easy to get rid of because it's a huge structure with complex layouts and building plans, and it's not that you can just remove it with a snap. Now, one of the projects of Iskandar Malaysia is actually deemed a failure, or at least they didn't meet their goal right now. That project is the Forest City project. Now, that project is a residential project, and it aims primarily at foreigners under the Malaysia My Second Home program. But because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they couldn't pick up any sales, and the project is essentially stalled. Now, of course, COVID-19 is something that we could not predict, but relating to my first point, this project seems to be aimed at the benefit of foreigners. And relating to my previous colleague's point, that the opportunity cost of building all this high-rise for the middle and upper class people, and for foreigners especially, the same resource actually could be used to support the rural and orang asli infrastructure. So for example, instead of building a new high-rise, if they build a new low-cost housing complex, for example, I believe that it could potentially benefit more people. But of course, if more foreigners come into our country, they have higher spending power because their currency is much more valuable than us. We could generate positive income because they would spend their money, and we could get that through indirect taxes like goods and services tax, and we could charge them some income tax if they are working here. But the point still stands that this project may be skewed towards foreigners and foreign interests. So, but as the government, should they be looking out for local interests first?
In conclusion, the Iskandar Malaysia project has many benefits such as reducing unemployment rate, increasing knowledge and creativity, and it can help to build a sustainable competitive economic environment. However, it could have an opposite effect and will cause harm especially to those small local businesses, and they may get affected. Therefore, the government and relevant authorities should carry out the project not only in letter, but also in the spirit of their core goals, which is to generate wealth, achieve equal distribution of wealth and sustainable development, while also being transparent and open to suggestions and criticisms of the public. There are also a few recommendations to help ensure this project to be successful, such as that the government should ensure the maintenance of facilities and promote the usage of them to prevent being a white elephant. For instance, if the bus services are unsatisfactory, such as being unhygienic or always late and not on time, people will not use the bus service anymore. Government should also be transparent with their dealings, such as sharing the progress and finances of the project to the public so they can be scrutinized and make sure the money that they spent are traceable to actual expenses and not pocketed. And so, this is all from us, Group 5, and thank you very much.